Good evening, and once again, just a wrap up of the Grand Rapids City Council work session and the council meeting for December 14th, 2015. Just wanted to touch on the work session quickly here in that I think the two areas that we talked about are critical for 2016. One was the setting of our legislative priorities, and we've got 10 priorities that we're looking at. They were all passed in resolution form last year, but because of the legislature not getting to some of the areas down there that's coming up in the second year of the biennium. So we're reaffirming our commitment to those priorities. The top five being the pedestrian bridge, the civic center, those are under the bonding proposal. And then looking once again at the collaring of fiscal disparities. As we set our budget, we find that fiscal disparities can vary quite a bit, and it's hard to take into account what that discrepancy could be when you don't know that until the end, based on how well your businesses and stuff are doing, or new businesses into the community. So we've asked that there could be a collar that it couldn't change more than 3 to 5% one way or the other. That would at least give us a base of which to work with when we look at how much of an impact fiscal disparities can have on our city's budget. The other one is the addition of some local government aid, about $45.8 million. Move it back to the 2002 levels, which would be great for outstate Minnesota on the city side. If we could get back to that, it would be a slight increase in LGA, local government aid, coming back to the cities from the state. Keep in mind, this is money that's paid in. We're just asking for this money back. We've also asked that the dedicated funding for city streets, and then a distribution of production tax to local areas. So as you have mining in the area within the city limits of Grand Rapids, that under a production tax model, some of those funds would be redistributed back. Some Hill Annex Mine priorities, the 169 corridor project, those are all important. The other discussion topic this afternoon at the work session was around liquor licensing. And Grand Rapids, over the course of time since 1978, is, I believe, the date that we've established that some of these changes were put in place. And Chapter 6 has some restrictions that are only in as a result of action taken back in 1978 by the City of Grand Rapids. And after some discussion, what was decided was we have asked staff to come back to us with a proposal, but the big thing is we will strike Chapter 6 from that discussion, and we will move to following the state statutes as it revolves and has an impact on liquor licensing requirements. Tonight we had two department head reports. As you recall, just a week ago, Eric was not able to come in. He was sick, so we had IT and we had Park and Rec. So both were informative updates. Eric talked about the 600 requests they'd had for service down there over the course of the year. As you know, with your own computers, you periodically have issues and you need somebody to come and fix them. On the city side, with our unique system of computers in different areas with servers and software, they responded to 600 requests on tickets out there dealing with city issues. And he also presented us with the CIP plan going forward into 2016 for replacement of servers and software, both internal and in the PD department. The Park and Rec, Dale Anderson talked a little bit about the programs out there. He talked about the funding replacement for the electric Zambonis that we will be purchasing. It's going to be a net savings over the course of time. So the $40,000 that was coming from savings after 4 years, that's going to be a reduction in their operating budget, and it won't get paid back. He'll look for some funding, but we will sell off the two Zambonis, and we will sell marketing, advertising on the two Zambonis, and at the end of the day, the $135,000 match that was required from the Mighty Ducks program will be there and in place, and we will have Zambonis that are going to put us not only in compliance, but not having to comply with the gas propane issues out there from a standpoint of affecting not only our skaters, but people in watching the events. Skipping over to our finance, well, let's talk about engineering first. Engineer Julie Kennedy came forward with a 5-year municipal agreement that the city is entering into with SEH, so that was approved. And then Barb Baird came in. We had no one here to talk about levy issues. We did talk it through thoroughly last Monday night. We're very happy with where we ended up, with a slight reduction on the city tax rate in 2016 over what it was in 2015. We decided what the fundings were for multiple different departments, and then that any excess funds would go over into one fund at the end of the year, and it helps into the general funds. So under administration, we reappointed David Marty and Karen Walker to the Arts and Culture Commission, and we appointed Shannon Benolkin as a non-resident on the library board, and Mary Helen Harkala as the resident on the library board. We paid the claims, and this is the 14th, so keep in mind that we will not have another council meeting until January 11th of 2016. I just want to thank all of you out there for the support that you've given the city council and you've given city staff over the 2015 calendar year. I believe it was a good year for the city of Grand Rapids. I'm looking forward to some extremely happy and productive projects that are going to come forward. We've all heard about some of them that are going to be happening in 2016, but I will be encouraged and happy to report on progress of some of those projects as we move through the 2016, as we all try to work for an improved Grand Rapids and a greater Grand Rapids area. So please have a pleasant holiday season, and as the roads start to get a little bad, start to take that defensive driving a little more serious as we look at potential slippery roads. So once again, we will see everyone again officially January 11th of 2016. Have a good night.